we have what we call our pillars for growth, which is uh, expert section, which we are doing currently. We bring the seasoned professionals um, and industry leaders sharing wisdom. So remember our first training where we do about AI. So our one of our CFO in the insurance industry came and then enlighten us more. So this is what we have been doing. Is our part of our pillar that we need to take into consideration. So we have networking and support. So we all know recently I think we posted one job on the group and by the grace of God someone got the job very clear and then it was in fact I think he told me that we'll be resuming next month something like that. So that is what we are doing and career guidance as well. So such outreaches and school on the school section. So we talk more about this after our facilitator coming for because there's initiatives around that currently, so which we want to update all the members of CFPN. So while we are here, I've said this earlier, so we are here to learn, we are here to get more of uh what is need, like what we need, so that we can fail from interview, we can be of best. So sometimes um, confidence required, confidence required. So let's meet our facilitator. All right. So Damilola Fakumoju is a dedicated human resources professional and advocate for peace and conflict resolution. He's currently serving as the human sorry, or he's currently serving as human resources and talent engagement manager at Oranos Technologies, where he plays a vital role in driving people management strategy, fostering employee engagement. A graduate of history from the University of Ilorin, Samuela also holds a master's degree in peace and development studies from the same institution with over 5 years of progressive experience in human resource management across diverse industries, including manufacturing, printing, and advertising, engineering, and information technology. He also has developed a broad and practical understanding of people management, talent, acquisition, learning and development, and organizational development. Tamala is passionate about transformative power of people. Is deeply committed to helping individuals securing meaningful career opportunities. This passion fuels our work in human resources and extends to our volunteer engagement. She actively volunteers with the Lagos Food Bank and the Bonafide Advocator Initiative, an organization that seeks justice for the underprivileged, which he serves as the advocacy officer. He currently facilitates the communication process, management, and development course at the intermediate uh, level 2 at Heritage Consulting and accredited Center of Chartered Institute of Personnel Management (CIPM), which where to share our knowledge and help build the next generation of HR professionals. Our dedication to social impact combined with our experts position her as a people-centric professional who believe in creating opportunities for growth and development and positive change. Uh, Beloved, on this note, I want us to welcome our facilitator, Mr. Damilola Akumoju, as he um, take us through the section. Welcome, ma'am. Back to you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jesse, for that introduction. It's such an honor to be here this evening. My name is Damlola Pakumoju, and I see that Jesse already did the introduction. Just my own self, Damlola Fakumoju, HR practitioner. So I would like, before we start or before we delve into the conversation tonight, I would like to meet each and every one of us. Just tell us what you do. I understand that this is a platform for accounting or accountants or professional finance managers, officers, as the case may be. So I would like to meet us. Let me get to meet each and every one. Just introduce yourself briefly, what you do, how long you've been in your chosen career, and what your expectations are for tonight's conversation. So maybe I should allow Jesse go first. Okay, Jesse has, of course, introduced himself. So I'll allow Ezekiel. Yeah, Ezekiel, good evening.
Okay, good evening.
Good
Am I
evening.
loud enough?
Yes, you are. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, first I would say I'm a student of National Open University, and I recently concluded an IT from Bank Directors Association of Nigeria. So from my own schooling, I can be able to do my school and work, but I'm still working on that presently to get a particular job. Am I loud enough?
Yes, I get that. Okay, welcome, Ezekiel. It's good to meet you. We have Eliza,
Yes.
I don't know if I got that correct. Razak, are you there? Hello, Razak, are you there? Okay, Olamide, are you there?
All right. Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Nice to meet you,
evening.
ma'am. Yeah, my
Thank
name is
you.
Olamide Okonende. I'm a recent graduate of accounting. But I've been an accountant for 3 years now, working at a consulting firm. We're
Yeah.
into accounting services and related services in accounting. So yeah,
Oh,
that's it.
okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good to have you, Olamide.
Thank you, ma'am.
Eliza, are you there? Always good to have you. Maybe let's just go ahead. All right. So, when Jesse reached out to me, I really wanted to understand what this platform is about, and I really commend the convener or the team behind this professional network. It just speaks to how we are all looking out for each other in order for us to develop ourselves professionally and also individually. And I know that this can only be um, this can only take you further because of I don't know how long you've been this platform has been on for, but I commend the team behind it. That you guys are doing a great job. The fact that you're having like a monthly series or a monthly series just to empower every member of the team, it's actually is actually very commendable. So today we'll be looking at beyond the CV, right? Succeeding in a finance professional interview, right? So from the word beyond the CV, so it's not just about your CV, right? It is not just about, okay, I have a compelling CV. It is also about how can you, of course, the CV will get you that opportunity to be invited for an interview. But beyond your CV, beyond the CV, what else do you have as an individual or as a professional? So that's what we'll be looking at tonight. Right. So let's move straight into the conversation. So, what are the objectives for tonight's conversation? We are going to speak about why your CV isn't enough, right? Your CV is not enough. I've said that before. It is not just about having a compelling CV. It is about how you can get the job because the idea behind you having a CV in the first place or you preparing a CV or submitting your CV in the first place is for you to get the job. And that's what we are about tonight, right? What viewers really evaluate in your CV? If you call yourself a professional or an accountant, what are we looking for from you as an accountant, right? What are those qualities that we are looking forward to as an accountant? Then types of finance interviews, we look at technical, behavioral, the case study, and panel formats. This happens a lot. They throw you a case study question, and this prepares you for what is expected, because so I mentioned it's not just about the CV, right? The CV will get you to that point where you are being interviewed. It is now left for you to convince your panelists to say, okay, I think I'm the best candidate for this role, or I am the best candidate. Not thinking. You should be very certain that you are the best candidate for that role. Then how to prepare and perform at the interview, right? So we are going to look at the practical framework that you can use in order for you to perform and excel at your various interviews. Then we have mistakes to avoid, then making a lasting impression on your panelists. That's why we are here tonight. Right, so let's get straight into the conversation. So what is your CV? Your CV is that document. And I used to tell people that there is a difference between a CV and a resume. But for the sake of this conversation, just limit it to CV. But I want us to also start changing our mindset as regards CV and resume. CV is a document that states your education, your professional journey, your educational journey, especially if you are tilting towards developing a career in lecturing, right? So that speaks to your educational career, the materials that you have produced, or what's the word now in that educational context? There's this word, the papers you have written. How many papers, how many written, how many books have you published? Not only about books, it's about, okay, I've chosen to maybe practice finance, not now as a professional accountant, but now as a maybe in the educational field. You want to be a lecturer in accounting, you want to be a lecturer in finance. You are trying to build your career. So with that, we would have seen some level of maybe written document that you have I can't remember that word right now, but in the educational field, especially for those of us for some of us that are lecturers, they use that term a lot. You might have written some I don't know if anybody can help me with that word. I'm trying to get that appropriate word to use. You would have written some papers, you would have published some documents to say that, okay, this person is actually and with those documents that you have provide that is accredited to you, can say, okay, this person has actually, we can call you a thought leader in that aspect. And that is what makes up a CV, right? Your education, the papers you've written, the papers you've published, your educational career from, okay, if you want to be a lecturer, before you being a lecturer, you might have done some things. Okay, you've done your BSc, you have your first degree, you have your second degree, then you move on to be a doctor, you write a doctor. If you have postgraduate degrees, all of those degrees put together makes you to say, okay, this person actually wants to pursue a career in lecturing, right?
I think you're coming in soon.
Can you hear me? Yes, sir. Hello?
Hi,
Can
can
everyone
hear
hear
you.
me? Okay, all right. Yeah, so
We can
that
hear
is
you.
a CV. So a CV covers your education, covers your career journey, covers your educational journey especially. That's what a CV carries. But a resume is just speaking to your educational background and your career journey, basically. CV is more comprehensive. Curriculum vitae is more comprehensive than a resume. But in our Nigerian context, we tend to use CV in place of resume. So I'm just trying to put a difference to CV and resume. So in this concept, your resume earns you the seat at the table, right? Okay, we've gotten this CV. It is very compelling. Let's invite this candidate for interview. It is at that point we are getting to meet you. So we are in the era of AI. Everybody is talking about AI. I can actually Like, for example, the last session I had, like, when I went to speak to students from my alma mater, University of Ilorin. So there's this program that they organize for final year students, and I was being invited to speak to them as regards them preparing for the future of work and all of that. And we started with the conversation of having a CV. And I spoke to them about that. It is not just about having CVs. It is about tailoring your CV to what you have. What do I know? What do I carry? You can just go on AI develops, and there's a way you even prompt AI intelligently, and that's what people do not know. I can just put a generic question on AI, and AI gives me a generic answer. But there's a way I prompt AI, and AI gives me quality response that I know that, okay, is applicable to what I'm looking for, right? So if you are creating a CV or asking AI to develop a CV for you, are you speaking to AI like you are conversing with it like human? Is AI actually speaking your language? Because it's not just about having a CV. So you have a very compelling CV. You've been able to achieve that. AI has done that for you. So that's the first level. So the next stage is, okay, we've invited you for an interview. Come and prove what you've written. And at that point, I remember seeing final year students writing, I am a this professional. And I'm saying this is already you shooting yourself in the leg. You cannot call yourself a professional because you are still in school. You do not have any experience in this regard. Fine, you might have had internship experience, or maybe one experience or the other, or get yourself involved in some volunteering activities. But does it speak to you as a professional? And immediately, because I was also reviewing their CV on the spot, and I immediately told them that this are what you need to change. Because I'm saying you have a professional with this. I'm looking at you as a professional. I am not looking at you as somebody out of school, just getting out of school. Instead of me to engage with you as maybe a graduate trainee, I'm engaging with you as a professional or somebody that has experience already. So all of these things, we are supposed to take note of them. If you know you do not have experience, just say a fresh graduate of so, and so. So whoever sees your CV knows that, okay, this person is fresh out of school and they are not expecting so much from you. What they are expecting is, does this person have the zeal? Do you have the skill that we are looking for? Can this person perform? Can this person succeed in this organization? Does this person have the culture fit to be able to come into our organization? Those are the things that we are looking for. Right. So your resume get you a seat at the table. It is what earns you the offer. Your interview actually is what earns you the offer, because we are talking about want to engage. And one thing that people do not also know is that, or people forget to remember, because of course you know that you are coming for an interview. You should know that a thought leader in that aspect will be the person interviewing you. I might not be, even though HR and finance have some overlapping responsibilities, but there are some things I do not know in finance. So you know that you're coming for a finance interview. You should expect that somebody that is supposed to interview you for that role will be somebody in finance, even though HR is supposed to moderate the whole session. And also HR is the one that sorts your CV and sends to the hiring manager. Do note that HR is not your hiring manager. If I am interviewing for HR person within my department, I am the hiring manager for that person. If I am interviewing or if I'm recruiting for a finance person, the finance manager or the finance head or the CFO, as the case may be, is the hiring manager. If I'm recruiting for an IT role, it is the head of IT that is the hiring manager. So we should also have this at the back of our mind, that the people that are supposed to interview are thought leaders. So they are not just anybody. You cannot just come and bamboozle people, right? They will drill you. I've seen interviews where they drill down to the list. Some people will look at your CV down to every detail. Explain this, explain this, explain this. Right. So interview is your real audition. But fine, we see your CV is very rich, it's very compelling. I think we should interview this candidate. And I'm also seeing, we've seen lots of CVs in the course of my career, right? I've seen plenty CVs, right? You see some very, really rich CVs engaged, and by the time you call them for interviews, the person you are meeting is actually totally different from the CV you met, right? So we should always remember that let your CV speak you. Can you defend everything that you have in your CV? Very important. If you say you work in this organization for 2 years, if you have a gap of maybe 1 year, what are you doing in that 1 year? You should be able to explain it, right? So you should be able to explain that, okay, within this period, this happened, that happened, this happened, that happened. You should be able to defend everything that you have in your resume, right? So what are interviewers evaluating? So I mentioned to you that most of the time, because of the nature of your role, of your profession as an accountant, most of the time when organizations are recruiting for your role, it is always cross-functional. HR will be there, finance will be there, project lead will be there, IT. Sometimes the CTO is even there in your interview because your role is very sensitive. So it is not just about the finance unit now that is interviewing you. They might do that interview at the first level conversation they're having with you, but you should have it at the back of your mind that you are coming in for a finance role. Everybody within that organization is going to interview you. Right? It's the stakeholder of that business are coming to interview you because of the sensitivity of your role. They might not drill down into your competencies and all of that. The finance manager is the one vested with that responsibility. But just know that every other departmental heads in that call, on that call, are going to ask you questions, especially as it regards your response to work or generally your work ethics. Those are the questions they'll be asking you. So what are we looking for, or what are your interviewers evaluating? First is your technical competence. An IT person might not understand the technical competencies of an accountant, but your finance manager or your CFO, as the case may be, would understand and would ask you questions. Questions around what are your core competencies, account payables, account receivables, ask you questions around FRS, what's that word? IFRS, right? Ask you questions about payee, ask questions about pension, all of those statutory remittances that we do. What are the time frame for remittance? They'll ask you questions regarding all of those things. What they are trying to test is they are trying to test your technical competencies. They will ask you questions around the accounting software that you have been exposed to in the course of your career. And I used to tell people, if you are a professional, you should be exposed at this level, especially if you have 2-3 years experience. You should be exposed to some accounting softwares or some accounting technologies. You are not just coming to an interview and they're asking you questions around what are the accounting softwares you've used in the past, or what technologies are you exposed to, and you're just looking at them. No. Even if you don't use this in your organizations, you have networks, just as we have this network. Somebody can just come one day and say, okay, today we'll be looking at maybe a finance, software, maybe one of these days, so that people that are not exposed to those technologies can have experience. At least they go for interviews, they ask them questions, they are able to say 1 or 2 things. We have several, just as we have several HRIS, we have different accounting software. So if you are exposed to one, and most of the time you are exposed to one particular HRIS or accounting software, is also replicable for others. What is just some little differences that you see, right? So they will drill down to ask you they'll drill down to your technical competence. What does this person even know? Okay, we've seen your CV. Okay, they will now drill down to, okay, yeah, we are here now. Then we're also looking at culture and team fit. Very important. Yeah, we are looking at culture and team fit because it is also very important, as outside of you reading the JD, what you're supposed to be, you look at it, this is what I can do actually. I'm very okay. I do this in my current job and all of that. You also have to go to that organization. Go and understand the culture of that organization. How do they do things? How do they run things here? Because I need to tell you that culture in your current organization is actually different from culture in another organization. So people are looking at how culturally fit are you? Is this person culturally fit to work in this organization or to work in our organization. Those are some of the things that we are looking for. So we are looking at cultural fit. We are looking at your mode of dressing, your style. Are you very traditional in your approach? For example, where I work, we don't call ourselves by Mr. and Mrs. We don't do sir, we don't do ma. We call ourselves by our first name. If you are the type that is very traditional in your approaches, you cannot thrive in that kind of environment. Because an 18-year-old person will call you by your name. Even if you are married, you are generation, whatever, they call you by your name. And the MD would even tell you that don't use sir for me. Anytime we greet him, sir, we cannot, he will tell you, call me by my name. Call me by my initials. That's how we are. So if you are the type, you look at the organization, look at how you can go on their social media platform. Everybody is on social media right now. It will give you an inkling of how the culture in that organization works. Right? Then communication and clarity. How does this person communicate? As an accountant, you should have that communication skills. Very important. This is one skill that we overlook as accountants. Be like, our own is about numbers. We don't really care. But you should actually care, because you are communicating the business, you are communicating everything, you are communicating the financial standing of the business. You are talking to stakeholders, you are talking to partners. So you should be able to communicate effectively, soundly, so they know that, okay, this person knows these are onions. Then judgment and integrity, very, very important. Accountants, I know that, well, I've not seen, in the course of my career, I don't think I've ever seen anybody that does an accountant that does not have integrity, though. Maybe there are some, of course, but that is one very important, what's the word now? Attribute of an accountant. Your integrity, honesty. Integrity is very key for you as an accounting or as an account professional, a finance professional. Very important. You cannot even sweep it under the carpet. It's a big deal. And also know that you are coming to manage a very sensitive role within the organization. You are right. You are coming to manage a very sensitive role within the organization. People are looking at what does this person do? They are carrying out lots, even if they don't carry out background checks for people. As an accountant, they are carrying out background checks for you. They are carrying out background checks for you as an accountant, right? They are looking at, does this person have integrity? They are even doing, does this person have the integrity? They're doing some background checks on you. They are reaching out to your former employer, down to where you stay, where you live. That's how big your role is as an accountant. So it is very key, it's very important that your integrity must be top notch. You cannot, what's the word now? You cannot compromise on your integrity. Very important. You cannot compromise on it. So your judgment must be top notch and your integrity must be there. That's one very key element or a key requirement for you as an, if you know you don't have integrity, don't even bother. I'm sure that some of us already have ICANN, while some of us are looking towards or on the way to achieving that or attaining that level. But please just know that integrity for you as an accountant is key. Then we're looking at the types of finance interview. We're looking at, does this person have integrity, right? Types of finance interview, right? We have, I've said it earlier, we have the technical and qualitative, right? So the first conversation the HR is having with you, okay, I'm recruiting for this, maybe a finance manager role, and of course I've started sorting CVs, and I get your CV. The first conversation I'm having with you is, okay, good afternoon, my name is this, I got your resume, and I would like to invite you for this position, right? That's the first, we've not even started conversation. Also, you should know that at the point of my first conversation with you, you're already being interviewed at that level. The way you respond, the way you are already being evaluated from that stage, right? So, and that's just like the basis before we look into your technical quality. So moving on, so we invite you for maybe first level conversation is virtual, we want to see you, we want to meet you, right? Then we move on to technical competencies. And at that level, we are bringing people in your field that are experts. We are bringing experts in your field to come and speak at that level. They'll come ask you questions. Okay, this thing that you say you know, or this thing that you added or you say you have in your CVs, come and defend. And I used to tell people, if you cannot defend anything on your resume, please don't add it. Your CV must not be two pages. It must not be 3 pages. If it is 1 page you have, make it authentic. Make it really compelling. On that 1-page CV, put in your skills, what you can do. Put it right there. So at this level, we are testing your valuation methods. Does this person even understand financial statements? If we bring out a spreadsheet now, can you explain what it means? Because of course, that's why you are there. We are giving you questions that are really, that speaks to why you are at that interview. Technical questions. They're asking you questions around the market. Then you also need to understand, it might not really be important, but you also need to understand a bit of how the industry you are looking at. For example, if you are looking at the hospitality business, or you are interviewing in the hospitality space, or maybe you are one hotel or something, right? You should also understand how your role is being, how things are being done in that industry, because various industries have their own various peculiarities. So you should know this. Then behavioral also. We want to test your level of, okay, if you say you have 10 years experience, you have 5 years experience, you're asking behavioral questions. Okay, this thing happened. Let me even ask. Can everybody hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. We can hear you, ma. We can hear you.
Okay, yes. So before we move on, I would like to ask this question. So I would like to ask this question. In your role as an accountant, right? It's almost the end of the month, right? It's almost the end of the month, and you are, what's the word now? So you have salaries to pay, right? You have salaries to pay, and you also need to pay your vendor. So you should not understand that, of course, your vendor is very important to you in that business. So you want to pay salaries, and you also need to pay your vendor. Which would you prioritize? Which payment would you prioritize? Can everybody hear me? Do you understand my question? Can everyone hear me? Can I hear the response? Right? It's maybe
Please come again with the
salaries,
question. Come again with the question.
Salaries, you pay salaries on 20th, no, on 25th, right? So it's already 20th, right? So you are still expecting some payments to come in. You know, you have 2 major payments to make. You want to sort your vendor, like a business partner. You want to pay them a particular amount, and you also need to pay salary. And it's like maybe 22nd of the month. And where the other place where you're expecting payment is not sure that payment will come in before 25th. And you have 2 major payments to make. You need to pay your vendor and you need to pay salary. Which would you prioritize?
Salary, the staff.
You have to go
Why?
for salary.
Why salary?
The reason why you have to pay the salary first, that is, you have to prioritize it, because they are the functional system of the company. They are the one that carries out the activities of the company, and when they are not being paid on time, it can lead to another thing, maybe especially like some companies that have union, some organizations that have union. Vendors payment can still be withheld or be postponed, because they are vendor. they are customer, they are more or less, you are a customer to them, they depend on you. They will not want to lose the place that they are getting money. They can still, what will I say? They can still maintain themselves. They can still understand you a little bit. But the place of salary, you can violate the law of labor.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for your take. Do you have another contribution or another response? You want me to call
For
names?
me,
Okay. Go ahead, Ezekiel.
okay. I said for me, it would be better for salaries because these are workers that work in the organizations, and the vendors can rather be left out for some time to the organization gets its paying the vendor either in any ways, but the workers are meant to be prioritized first.
Okay. So you prioritize salary.
Yes.
I'm not supposed to pay more. Okay. Okay. So I think there's a comment in the chat box. Let me get that. I cannot see that. Okay. Okay. All right. Any other contribution? Jesse, what would you do? Which would you prioritize?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'm here. Yeah. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
it's very key here. And then, as an accountant, you are working for a company, right? So, and our role is to recommend, right? So,
Mhm.
I'm just talking based on the experience of what has happened.
Okay.
The question that my boss asked me then was that which payments protect their company ability to continue operating identity and cash. So that question I can remember the question very well. That question made me to go back and think because then I gave him the position of our salary and also position of our vendor. Although there's aspect of vendor management by STM, which is
Brother
procurement
Jesse,
manager.
sorry, we didn't get the question. We can't
Hello?
get the question. Can you repeat the question, sir?
Okay, the question I'm saying that when I explained this scenario in my workplace, right? The question my MD asked me then was that which of these payments protect the company's ability to continue operating and generate cash?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I like that question.
You can see the question, you can see. So I have to go back and do my cash flow planning in details again. Although there's a way I manage this and then I now get back and give him a proper recommendation with my numbers. So because salary is the key. Salary is the key here because
So
vendor.
what did you do in that? Did you
Yeah.
prioritize salary? Did you prioritize
Yes,
salary?
I did
Okay.
because I have to recommend the procurement to manage the vendor.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
that's just it.
So there is no right or wrong question or wrong answer, but I'm coming from a different perspective from every other person, right? So I'm coming from a different perspective because and the perspective I'm coming from is that one, what I would do is I'm not an accountant, but what we would do in that sense, just as your money, depending on the culture of your organization, and that's why I said there's no wrong or right answer. In that situation, we prioritize the vendor because one, if we do not pay this vendor, it would affect our business. Maybe there is a timeline to payment and we need this thing to continue business. And that's why I would prioritize my vendor. Secondly, what kind of organization do you work in? Are you the type that delays staff salary? Do you get? Are you the type that delays staff salary? If your staff members know that, oh, my organization is not known for delaying our salaries, they even pay before the pay time, then you are good for it. So if any delay happens, the HR is already working with the account department, and HR has already would first thing to do. If salary is not supposed to come in as a when due, the HR communicates to the team members that, okay, we are sorry, salary will be coming at this time, this so period. You don't need to explain too much. So your team members will understand, except if you are not a good company. Maybe if you are a very toxic organization, they don't care. If you are the type that don't care about your employees, then they would not also care about you.
Hey,
We've worked, it's
no,
already end
Donna.
of the month, you need to pay us. Right? So they are trying to, so you buy into, okay, this is what is happening. You don't need to give them the full details. We are sorry, we'll be unable to pay salary at this time. Salary will be paid at this time. So they understand. Because you know that you need that vendor payment to be made for your business to continue. Do you understand? So it is not just about, if you are the type that delay staff salary, they might look at these people don't start again. But if you are the type that don't delay salaries, they would understand that, okay, this is just happening. It's not an every time thing. Do you get? So you might also look at it from that aspect. Your employees would understand. Except if you are one very bad employer. You are not a nice employer. So can everybody still see my screen? So can everyone see my screen?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
All
because
right.
it's your screen.
All right. Okay.
Yes,
All right. Let's move on. Yeah. So they'll ask you behavioral questions like that. Just as I earlier mentioned, this question does not mean you are right or wrong. You are just you are trying to understand the context. So there's no wrong answer. There's no right answer. You get. So the next one is case study or analytical questions, a live business problem to walk through. They might ask you questions around that, around how you were able to manage a situation, maybe a statutory payment that was not remitted on time. They ask you questions around that. They ask you questions like that, that relates to your real-time problem. They ask you real-time problem. How are you able to provide solution in this situation? Can you tell us what you did? How were you able to solve the issue? These are questions that they would ask. Then also panel question. I mentioned earlier when we're looking at the introductory, we started this conversation that they would ask you around, you have several people across the team. You have HR, you have finance, you have IT, you have sales, and you'll be wondering, what are these people's business with my interview? Because of the sensitivity of your role, they are there. HR also, if they are recruiting for HR in every organization, you see all of these stakeholders there. The IT manager, the finance manager is there, especially finance. Finance cannot even do without interviewing for an HR, without being a panel on an HR interview. You see the head of sales is there. They are asking you questions. They are throwing questions at you, throwing figures at you. As an accountant, you should be very good with figures. They will not ask you something, now start looking for, okay, I'm coming back. Though you might say that, but just so as not to give a wrong information, but you must be very good with numbers. Right. So you have people from different departments. So it doesn't look like, I thought I came for a finance. It's supposed to be finance people that should be interviewing me. Why am I having these people on the call? So it's going to be like a cross-functional question, cross-functional conversation, because every member within that department has one or two things to do with finance. At least, if nothing, your salary is coming from finance. If HR does pay and finance does not remit or pay or ask the bank to pay, and there's an issue, you come to HR still goes back to finance. So every department within the business has something to do with your role, with your position in that organization. Right, moving on. So how do you prepare for your interview? I said it earlier. Know about the organization. You are good, you're very good, you're a very sound accountant. They cannot even tell you otherwise. But if you are, even if you are very good, you are very sound, and your cultural or your beliefs does not align with the organization, there's really nothing they can do. So we are looking at a cultural fit also. So you know the firm, you know the business model. You might not know this because, of course, you are not yet in their environment. But as an accountant, do you even understand the business? So you understand the business, you understand the revenue streams, you understand everything that pertains to that organization, right? What are the recent deals? What are the I spoke about understanding the industry also. It's also very important. What is happening in that industry? You are in hospitality, you want to go to IT. You've never done IT before. How is it being done there? How do they manage? What are the statutory things that you're supposed to understand? You're going to engineering, you're going to construction, you're going to oil and gas. You should understand all of these industries and how your position would affect if anything goes wrong in accounting, in your department or in that industry, they'll come for you. So you should understand everything that pertains to that organization, how your department affects that organization. So know the organization and know the industry. Then also know about your role. Of course, you're an accountant. You should know about your role. You know what you're supposed to do. You know what is expected of you. Even before they give you JD, you already know. Because except maybe you are just new, you're just joining their organization. But as an experienced professional, you know what is expected of you. So you know the role. What am I supposed to do in this position? What skills is required of me in this role? What are the expectations? How do I even fit into this role? You are looking at all of those things. Then also, you also need to know yourself. You need to know yourself. There's this saying that to yourself be true. If you know that I do not have this strength, you don't frame up things, you don't frame up stories, you don't frame up achievements. Some organizations are okay, this thing that you put, you want to see the proof of it. So you don't frame up anything. And I said it earlier, if you cannot defend anything on your resume, Biko, remove it. It's not important. That is not what will get you the job. Your resume is just supposed to get you an invite for an interview. It will not get you the job. So if you have anything on your resume that you cannot speak to when they ask you questions, you are now looking like, they'll be like, okay, do you understand? So you should be able to speak to your resume. Then know the market. I think I said that earlier. Know the industry. What is the current trend? What's happening in this industry? What's the latest? So even when you're having the conversation with them, you are throwing those nuggets in there. They'll be like, okay, this person is even though this person is not yet in this industry, at least this person already knows what is happening in our industry. Right. So mastering the technical round. So the technical interview takes 70%. You know, I mentioned earlier that on your call as a finance professional, you have people from different departments being on the call to interview you, right? But at the end of the day, we are looking at your communication skills. We are looking at your posture. How are you able to even communicate? How is your posture like? How did you even appear? How did you show up for the interview? Very important. So all of those ones are even maybe 30%. But the core thing that we are looking at, because imagine us recruiting an accountant that does not even understand the nitty-gritties of a payable, whatever, or receivable. What's the point of having that person? So 70% is the deal. You must be technically sound as an accountant. You understand what is required of you as an accountant. You understand the core concept, financial statement, everything you understand. So it might be different from your industry, just as I earlier mentioned. It might vary from industry to industry, but you already know this, you know it. They can't take it away from you. So what you are just learning on the job is how this industry works. How does accounting in this space, how does it work? How do they do things here? That's just what you are trying to learn. Then also try to explain simple ideas. You don't need to use technical jargons. You get? We don't need technical jargons. Just make it simple for us. I am not an accountant. I do not understand some of your technical jargons. An IT person is on the call. He does not understand. You might say some of those technical jargons so that the finance person would understand, okay, this person understands some of the technical terms that we use in this space. But for the sake of others on the call, you use very clear terms so everybody understands what you're saying. Then walk through your reasoning with loud, not just the final answer. So you are walking them through. I asked a question around a situational question the last time, and just explain precept upon precept. What happened? This happened. What did you do? How were you able to contribute? What did you do? Not what did we. It's about you now. It's not about your team. Even if it was a team effort, what role did you play in that team effort? Then process matters as much as precision. So just as I left, what are if this issue happened or you're being asked to demonstrate something, you take them through the process. Okay, this happened, I did this, after this, I did this. What was the result at the end of the day? You explain all of that to them. Then also, we are looking at the behavioral interviews. So for behavioral interviews, you would use the STAR method. I'm sure we are all familiar with the STAR method. The STAR method is the STAR. The S there stands for situation. The T stands for the task. The A there stands for the action. The R stands for results. For the situation, maybe there is, as I earlier mentioned, the situation is that there is a statutory non-compliance. That's the situation. Statutory non-compliance, you're supposed to have remitted this by now, you have not remitted, and they have come to say, yeah, they've come to serve your organization. You are paying so penalty. How do you manage that situation? So you would explain, this is what I did, this is what we did, this is what we did. So now that's the situation that I said. The task now is, what were the responsibilities? What did you do? Remember I said, even if it is a team effort, do not say we. You are the interview. You are trying to sell yourself. You are stating what you did. Because I don't think I've ever seen any account department that has only one person or one member. It's usually 2, 3, and more than that, right? So you are stating what your task was in that situation. What did you do? Action is what are the actions that, so that's the task. What are the actions that you carried out? What are the actions that you carried out? Okay, we know we did this. You write to them, you did this, I did that, I visited the pension office, or I visited the FIRS or the NRS, as the case may be. These are the actions. Be specific about your role. What you did, even if it's a group effort. Then what happened at the end of the day? Okay, you got a penalty to say, okay, you paid the sum of 5 million naira. You were able to have a conversation, you were able to beat it down, but at the end of the day, of course, you cannot evade that penalty, you will pay it. But you were being asked to pay 5 million, you were penalized 5 million. At the end of the day, after every effort you put in, you were being asked to pay 2 million. But even before you get, how did you even get to that stage where you have to? Most of the time, they would say account and HR. Most time we tell, it's entirely, sometimes it's not entirely our fault. We've seen some organizations where they evade tax, they pad. Of course, we are all here now. We are all culpable, especially these accountants. You guys are really culpable. This is what you people do. You help your organization to pad things so that they will not pay so much. What's the word now? Myself and Jesse used to work in the same organization. I remember that period. That organization, I will not even mention it. Jesse was in that department. There were some paddings going on. Jesse, am I correct? we did some padding,
Good.
right? You know.
Yeah,
So these things at the end of the day, now with the new law, with the new tax law, nobody can evade, nobody can. I'm just wondering how that organization, when this new law came in this year, I was just thinking about that organization. How would they even do it? From what year? They have to lay everything out like this, no hiding for anybody. So, right. So just stay the star, use the star method. They ask you behavioral questions. You explain what happened, the situation, the task, the action, and the results. So what common questions and how to approach them. So when I say you've gotten your CV, I've seen plenty CVs. I've even seen somebody wrote the name of his children on his resume. And I'm like, okay, what are these names supposed to do for me? Is this person trying to buy into my emotions to say, okay, you must select my CV because I have this number of children. I have responsibility. Because I don't know what your children's name are doing on your resume. I've seen resumes with what's the word now? Signature. What do I want to do with your signature? Right? So I've seen a lot of things, just as I earlier mentioned about that, the fresh graduate I spoke to, just graduating from school, they're writing their final exam, and I'm saying I'm a professional with this. I'm asking them, what professional are you? Have you even been in the workspace? Do you even know how the labor market operates? They're putting you a professional. And I spoke to them, and so they're asking you to walk them through your CV. You don't need to put your marital status on your CV or your local government of origin, state of origin, your year of birth. All of those things are obsolete. They are no longer in vogue. If you have those things on your resume, please go and remove them. Just tell us what your professional summary is. That's the first thing you're saying. After you might have put your data, your name, your phone number, your email address, and maybe your LinkedIn profile. We don't need your house address on your CV, even for security reasons. It's not advisable. I'm not coming to your house if I need the address of your house, I will get it when you get employed. So there's no need for all of that information on your resume. If I say walk me through your resume, I'm looking at, you have to speak to, and also not entirely speaking entirely to what you have on your resume. You can also say some things that are not even in your CV, because you're also working with time or with space. You might not have all those things that you really want to put in your CV. There might not be enough space for it, but you can speak to that during your introduction. So just tell or narrate a story that connects your choices. Not I did this, I did that I worked in this company. After then, I now moved from there. I now went to Lolalade and Co. After Lolalade and Co, I now moved to NG's Nigeria Limited. All of that conversation, all of that information is not necessary. Then also, what does discounted cash flow mean? Accountant, what does discounted cash flow mean? If they say, walk me through a discounted cash flow, can everyone hear me?
yes.
I can hear you.
Okay. What is DCF? I'm speaking to account, or is it one term that you've not come across it before, or you're not familiar with, or is there another term for it? Yes, okay. Latifat.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kafaya.
Good evening, everyone. DCF is actually the current value or the real value of a company or an asset. It can also be called an intrinsic value. So that's
Okay.
my.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Jesse wanted to speak. Jesse, you wanted to speak.
Yes. So this year is the financial method used or approach used to estimate what a a business or investment is worth today.
An estimated, worth of an investment. So thank you very much, Kafayat and Jesse, for your right. So what that means is, for example, more like an estimated value of an investment or of an asset. Yeah, an asset. Sorry. So if I buy a land in Lekki, maybe I buy a land in Lekki this year, maybe at 5 million, and maybe I just bought it for investment purposes, and I know, like, okay, at the end of say 10 or another 5 years, that 5 million would generate. You can just even do your feasibility study around that area, and to give you an idea of what that property will worth in the next 5 years. So that's what discounted cash flow is. More like an estimated what's the word now, value of an asset, to say in the next 3 years what's going to happen to this asset. In the next, there's also some asset that depreciates, so you also need to look at that. So they are asking you to walk them through that. As an accountant, you explain what it means, giving them examples, right? So you should be very familiar with some of these accounting jargons. Be very familiar with all of these accounting terms. It will be very useful for you. Then tell me about a time when you manage conflicting priorities. I think we've spoken about that when we're speaking about salaries and vendor payments. So you can give them examples. There are several examples that you can use, right? Then what's happening in the market right now? Yeah. If they ask you now, so I'm asking you, accountant, what is happening in the market right now, generally? They ask you questions around you in an interview, and they ask that question. Okay, as an accountant, what is happening right now? Everybody knows about the story going on in Nigeria right now, the Okoye story, and everybody's following up. In our different profession, what is the trend? What are people talking about right now? You get some of those questions come up in interview. Then professional presence and body language, very important. My boss will tell me that, or will tell us, maybe during our sessions in our work, he'll be like, even if I'm talking rubbish with confidence. Like, you will hear us speaking rubbish, because he'll be like, I'm talking with confidence. Even if I'm saying rubbish, you will not know. Because the way I'm packaging the rubbish for you, you just be taking it in. So we do not expect that you are going to an interview to talk rubbish. I'm just using it as an example. So you must have this confidence, very important. So you speak louder, you are not just slouching. Okay, you are being invited for an interview. Some people, I've seen a lot in this my talent acquisition journey. The way some people would appear in an interview. I've had an interview before where a lady showed up wearing what's this thing called? Camisole, and her breast, everything was out. I'm like, it's an virtual interview. We are not even invited you physical. If we invite you physical, what's going to happen? It's a virtual interview. It's expected that you dress appropriately, right? So you give a firm handshake and eye contact. Very important. You are not there physically. They cannot beat you over the phone or over the laptop, as the case may be. So you should be able to give them eye contact. You look into their faces, speak to them. Be confident. Have an upright position or upright posture. So you are not slouching. You are not doing anyhow in the call. I've seen some people, the way they even react or the way they behave, I'm like, and is this person looking for a job? So you are engaging even the person. So interview is it's supposed to be a conversation. They ask you questions, even some questions that you don't know. Just make it clear that I don't know this thing. Move on from it. So be confident and have this upright posture. Then also active listening, very important. You are not arguing with your with your hiring manager. I've seen that one to play out most times. Candidates will be arguing with their interviewer. Even if you are right, there's a way you put it. But I've seen people argue on the call during an interview. You argue. You are not even allowing your interviewer finish with their question, or maybe they are giving you an explanation. You are already cutting them. And I'm like, so before you answer a question, just calm down, process it. Then, so that makes it, they will look at it that this person is very calculated. You are not just talking because, okay, let them see me that I'm very, I know what I'm saying, I know what I'm doing, even if you are doing rubbish. No. So you actively listen to them. You're not just respond. You are not listening to quickly want to respond. You are listening to understand their question and prefer appropriate answer to the question. Then dress the part. Be polished and professional. I'm sorry, I've seen in the course accountants, you people don't dress well. Honestly, I've seen some accountants like, why are these people dressed like this? Accountant now be the money department within the business. So you should dress well. Some accountants, not everybody do. You see some accountants, they dress really sharp, and you be like, no. And you see some accountants, So you should dress. If you're going for an interview, if it is a virtual interview, dress appropriately. We know that accountants also, they are always very serious. Coming for an interview, they cock up, they do this, but some will just dress anyhow. No, now. If you have to package, especially if you are invited for a physical interview, it's very important. Then moving on, ask smart questions. So some people, you at the end of an interview, ask them, do you have any question for us? And some will say no. Please don't say no. Don't ever say no. Even if you just go and look for one question, ask them around learning and development. Ask them around career development within the organization. Ask questions. Don't just say no. It is not a good thing to say no. They'll be like, this person is not even. It just shows your excitement. You can just go on their social media platform, even if you don't have questions to ask. You just go on their social media platform, look at one or two videos, look at some of the any posts that they make, and the question can come up from there. You can ask them questions like, what does success look like for me in the next 3 months? You're trying to understand what, okay, in the next 3 months, 6 months. Even though when you come in, they will explain to you during your own body what is expected, what success looks for you in the next 3 to 6 months. How has this course shifted over the past year? Things are changing. I remember before the government came out the new tax law, we're not thinking about that before now. But when it came, everybody had to quickly adjust. Do you get? And it's not just an industry or an it affected everybody, every business owner within Nigeria, even personal income tax. It affected everybody. Right? What one challenge the team is currently navigating? These are some of the questions you need to ask. Essentially, you drill down to what you are supposed to come and do there as an accountant. Then what separates someone who is good in this role from someone who is excellent? Ask questions like that. Then common mistakes to avoid. Don't do memorized answers. It's supposed to be a conversation. We are not asking you to come and define concepts or define a term here. We are supposed to have a conversation, right? Then speaking negatively about your past employer or colleague is no in an interview. Even if they do you bad, just don't even talk about it. Just move on from it. Then arriving without having researched the firm, role, or interviewer is you don't do that. You have to find out about, I said that earlier, I've said that severally on this call. Research the organization, research the industry. Even the manager you are supposed to work with, go to their social media platform, go and look for the finance team, look for the CFO, look for the finance manager, look for all these people. Understand, look for even to their HR person. How do they even do things here? All those stakeholders in the business, go and get familiarized with them. Understand how they do things. Then describe your achievement without quantifying the impact. So describe your achievements. Just, okay, this is what I did. This is, maybe you were part of the team, or you single-handedly introduce a new accounting software that the organization is using that has really helped to streamline your processes and all of that. Just put all of that in. Just mention them. Don't ramble. Don't ramble. Just don't say. Just give your respond to your question, precept upon precept. Don't just pick one thing. Something is you stay at the beginning of your conversation. You're saying it at the last. Something you're supposed to say last. You are putting it in front. So understand, structure your responses. And that's why I said that it is not just about responding, it's about taking your time to respond. In your head, they've asked you this question, you're processing it. Okay, you pause, then you respond. Right. So after the interview, it is not bad if you follow up actually. Can send a thank you note, thank you for this, thank you for, I really just do a thank you note to the team, then send a thank you note, then also okay that you look forward to hearing from them. With that thank you note, it gives the HR this sense of I must respond to this person. Even if the HR is looking at ghosting you, the fact that you have said a thank you note, that person would have that obligation to come back to you to say, okay, this is it. Even if they are not employing you, they shall have to come back to you. They reference the conversation. Any conversation that stuck with you during your interview, reference it in your note to the HR, to the hiring team. Then reiterate your fit. Why you are the best. Not think. Why you know you are the best fit for that position. Then follow up patiently. Maybe after 1 week, the following week, you've not heard from them. And just drop a message. I'm following up on my interview with you on so dates. Right? Then so generally your resume opens the door. The interview is what gets you in the room. Then preparation consistently beats raw talent and shows up already. So preparation is very important. You cannot just show up because you want to. Then structure your stories and identify your impact wherever possible. And authenticity and clarity win more often than polished tone. Just be authentic, be true to yourself. Right? Be true to yourself, be authentic, and also give your responses in a very clear tone. Don't use ambiguous words. Just make it simple and precise so that anybody coming in or asking questions or listening to you speak would understand that, okay, this is where this person is coming from. Thank you very much. This has brought the end of this conversation. Do we have questions? Can everyone hear me? Thank you, everybody. Do we have questions?
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Terminola. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Sister Tolu, are you there? Can you continue from here, Sister Tolu? Hello, are you there? Okay, I think he's trying to unmute his mic. Okay, so please, I believe we have learned one or two things in this call, right? And yeah, I believe that what we are able to learn during the course of our job passing tonight, we have learned one or two things. So please, I want us to show a big appreciation to our facilitator tonight by say thank you into our chat box. Just say thank you, or you can use your emoji. Just say thank you. I'm yet to see any. I'm yet to see any. I'm just getting okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, people. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Fayed. Okay. Um. We thank God for this section. So at this point now, we need to welcome questions. If you have any questions, you can put it on the chat box, or you can just unmute your mic and ask directly this the question. Please, the question, please. We are waiting for it. If you have any questions to ask, We are waiting. No, Sakafaya, do you have any question? Any questions? Satulu, are you there? Presikel, are we there? Doeli, is there any
Maybe I
question?
should ask question.
Okay,
Maybe I
maybe
should
you
ask
ask questions so that
question.
people will respond. Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Tolu Lokpe, what's your takeout from this session? Or your takeaway from this session? Mr. Tolu Lokpe, Mr. Adebi Damilola, my namesake. I saw one on Motoyosi on the call too. The person has left.
Good
That
evening.
person is also my namesake. Hi, good evening.
Yeah, thank you for a wonderful session. Really appreciate your you sharing your knowledge with us. Okay, so basically, I think I've learned now more. I think I've always heard about it. So you talking about it from the HR point of view makes it more vivid about knowing whatever company you want to apply for. You have to know their culture, basically know more about the company, search about it, and understand that you are not just talking to the HR, the recruiters themselves, but also the finance people. And also, whatever you are applying for, ensure that you have intense and extensive knowledge about it.
Knowledge.
So that's, yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Adebi Damilola. Adebi Damilola. Eliza Ize. All right, I guess we are good. So thank you, everyone. Jesse, I don't know if you want to round up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Satolu, you're supposed to anchor this section. So, yeah, what you so let me just.
Okay, so am I supposed to round it up, Brad Jesse?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we want to thank everyone from our facilitator to everyone that came around, that joined. Thank you all, regardless of the hustle of the network. We are grateful, really appreciate your time. We thank you for everything. So we expect and we anticipate our next training session, which is coming up next weekend, due to the which is coming up next weekend. So we really wish people, we also wish and hope that we also join and also continue to increase our knowledge and learn. So really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So if you have any feedback for us, what you feel we can improve on, and please you can drop it on the main group. We'll work on that. So thank you very much. Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
So on
Thank
this
you so
note,
much.
please let us just send a clap.
Since network has done me out.
Sorry, bro. I think,
I
I said something.
Okay, I think I'm back.
I said network has done me bad things.
Oh,
Since
yeah.
that time
Sorry
I
about that.
answered the question. I have not been in since that time. Just come
So
on.
sorry
Hope
about
it's
that.
reference to answer.
Just sorry, sir. So we send the video to the group. The record was
Okay.
right. Thanks so much. So
All right.
Adam Nola, thanks so much for your time. God bless you. God bless
Thank you,
you.
everybody.
Yeah, in our
Have a
future
good
training, we still call
Bye,
you for
everyone.
other related topics. All right, thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so
It's
much.
actually an honor
All right,
being
everyone,
here.
thank you so much. So we'll meet again
All
on the
right. Good night,
22nd of
everyone.
August.